Patreon. I'm here with my good friend Mairin-Taj. Mairin-Taj, how are you?
Hello, I'm sleepy, but I'm ready to go.
I know, it's the weather.
Yeah.
It's the weather, which I think is going to tie into our subject today. And I'm Mike Hawthorne. We get together. I'm trying to sharpen a pencil, but it's not going well. You can tell that podcasting is not my main cup of tea. But anyway, we get together once a month and we draw. Mairin-Taj is a professional model and artist.
Yeah.
So she's posing, I'm drawing, and we talk about art and life and everything.
Practice,
Yeah. So I'm gonna jump in and get drawing just because we have class today in a half an hour, so we gotta get started. You mentioned your sleepiness, and I think it's the weather because we are now it's central PA, and it's March, and it's rainy, which is normal for us. And it got me thinking on a couple of fronts about how you've talked about art and seasons, right? Like you tend to compare your practice to either something in sort of nature or seasons or something to do with sort of, what do we call it, traditional, like not a more, I don't want to say calendar, but something that kind of, your practice tends to line up with what's going on in the world at that time. I don't know how to word it.
With the actual earth.
Yeah, with the actual.
It's sort of like almost agrarian calendar.
Yes, that's what I was looking for, because I didn't want to say calendar and have people
Yeah.
think, oh, it's Christmas, I do
Yeah.
this, you know?
I definitely don't. I used to do this when I was more in illustration. I don't anymore have a calendar with my practice that is governed by a consumer market.
Yes.
Like I don't have that, which is, I mean, there's benefits and detriments, but yeah.
But
I've learned with mental health too that like I need to have working from within to the outside as opposed to gratifying the outer world first.
That's exactly what I was getting at. So I think, it's easy to get caught up in the we're producing products kind of mindset with art. And I think your approach, what makes it more interesting and healthy to me is this like tying it into what's going on in nature and how it affects us. So I figured for today we would talk about, I mentioned the old cliche of like the beginning of spring, usually March, coming in like a lion and going out like a lamb, meaning like rainy and crazy weather, and then it being pretty calm by the time we get to April. And it made me think of people hitting rough patches in their practice of art, right? Where they're just like, nothing looks right. They're unhappy with all their drawings. And I notice it here in class where students, going into the end of the fall semester, they're often just spent and frustrated and they don't like their work. And then we get into the spring semester and about 2 weeks in, they're like feeling way better. Like I'll hear students actually say things like, wait, am I learning stuff? Like what's going on? I know it's kind of depressing, but that's, yeah. So I guess I wanted to hear your thoughts on that. Like, what do you do for rough patches? Do you even fight them? Do you just kind of go with them? How does that tie into your thinking with the seasons and your work? All that stuff.
And there's the timer for that pose.
Yes.
It's interesting that you say that. As a side shoot, I wonder, like, is there a timeline that you can measure scientifically for, like, when you're learning a skill and how long it takes to learn that skill? I mean, I'm sure there's been studies done of this.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Like, what are they, juniors?
These are sophomores, I believe. Yeah. Going into their junior year.
Okay, maybe taking just the context of the class itself as versus figure.
Yeah.
Does it take, what is it, 3 months in a semester or 4?
15 weeks with the break, so 14 actual classes. So it's roughly 3 months.
Okay. Wonder if it takes like month 6 for anyone to be like, whoa, I'm seeing the rewards of my labors.
That's interesting. So it's not so much the season as much as just the time in
Well, I mean, you could argue that that's a type of season. Like
True,
we could
actually.
be looking at different kinds of seasons.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
to the listeners, viewers, you know, like, do you have different seasons?
Yeah.
Like, within the context of the whole year, and then like in terms of a project within your studio, I'm sure you can really speak to that too.
God, yeah.
I'm kind
yeah.
of, my mind's all over the place.
No. Perfect. So it sounds like you're just kind of figuring what your answer is going to be, which is what I'm hoping for, right? I don't want you to just, dump out an answer. This is what you do. Here's the 7 things you do if you're feeling stuck. Like, I don't want that answer.
I definitely don't have formulaic solutions in that respect.
Right.
And I kind of, so this could be an answer in that, for me, I found looking for answers is a trap.
Yes.
So looking for answers, meaning finding a formulaic solution that fits all circumstances of whatever my creative practice is,
Right.
is actually a trap, and it really hinders me.
Oh
for
boy.
me personally.
Yeah.
And then I guess my other answer to you, ultimately, kind of in that similar vein, is you said something about do you muscle through the
Yeah, do you kind of force through it?
Yeah.
If you're feeling stuck, if you're in a rough patch, if it's raining in your studio, so metaphorically,
right? If you have a stormy season.
Yeah.
I think I've spoken to this a bit before, but you're asking if do I just muscle through, or do I let those seasons be?
Yeah.
And my short answer is, I think all struggle and difficulty modes need to be what they are.
Yeah.
I don't think you can really muscle through it too much.
I agree.
There's a degree for me of pep talks, slapping myself in the face metaphorically. And
Yeah, don't do that for real.
Come on, snap out of it.
Yeah.
Get your head in the game as much as you can.
Right.
But I think taking that too far becomes a bit.
Toxic.
Yeah, it becomes a bit if you're beating yourself up to be in your practice, then it's like creativity is about play.
I agree.
And creativity is not going to thrive in a toxic relationship.
Yeah.
Like if you're
God, yeah.
to use that. What did we do? Like a couple of episodes ago, we talked about relationships.
Yeah.
And making that illusion.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, you are in a relationship with yourself, your art,
Yeah.
and who wants to force that?
Yeah.
It's
And you're not going to feel in a relaxed, receptive to the creativity, to the muse, whatever you want to call it, state if you're hitting yourself over the head or getting all up on your case and not giving yourself any kind of grace or whatever.
No, I think the word you're using, receptive, is kind of the key, right? Like, you have to. It's not the kind of task that you are muscling through like a workout. You have to stop and receive whatever it is you're working on, and then hopefully find a way to show it to people. You mentioned the muses, and every time I hear the muses, I think of there's this book by Stephen Pressfield, The War of Art.
Oh, I've heard, yeah.
Oh man, so
read it, but
you should. It's a little. He gets a little funny with religion.
Yeah.
Because
that makes sense.
yeah, and it's not gross, but I always warn people he's not preachy, but if you don't like a religious angle to your pursuit of art, maybe don't check out this book. Mm-hmm. And it's not religion in the sense of dogma.
Yeah.
He's talking about art coming from outside of you, and you have to be good.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not the right word, but I'm going to say good, to be open enough to receive it, right?
Yes.
And he even talks about the incantation to the muses, he does it.
Yeah.
And I literally after I read the book, I memorized it. And I used to do it in the studio every morning,
That's
right?
great.
The whole old divine poesy, Goddess, daughter of Zeus,
That's
sustain
great.
for me this song. So
Yes.
I like the idea of opening and receiving this stuff.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's maybe a little
Yeah.
goofy for some
Yeah.
people who want to approach art in a kind of scientific way.
It can feel a little woo-woo.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah, it can feel a little for those who may struggle with breath work or the concept of letting go.
Yeah.
That can be challenging. I get
yeah. But to your point, sitting and receive, I mean, that's what we're doing when we're in a museum looking at art.
Yeah.
If you're an artist, it kind of feels like that sometimes, right? You're working on something and you have to stop and look at the damn thing. Most of my career has been so fast that lately, working on my own creator-owned projects, I've had the luxury of just stopping and just staring at these pages and tweaking them, maybe too much, but at least tweaking them to a point where I feel more like there's a two-way street between me and the work.
It's like you're tuning in.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I mean, I'm financially it's not great, right? Because you're used to producing, and you go every day is this many pages, which equals this many dollars, and this many finished books, and that was it is a lot of my career, but it also means I've like made products for a lot of my career, not art, which is a drag. So, yeah, I like the idea of receiving something for your work, you know, or with your work.
Yeah, I think that's and maybe that's some of the answer for what we're talking about right now is if you're in a state that maybe not ideal.
Right. It's raining, so to speak.
Or, yeah, whatever. It's stormy.
Yeah.
How am I to say this? I think it's interesting your point about, tuning into your work to get something more out of the practice.
Yeah.
And then also what you're making. And maybe the storminess is a sign, it's information, it's feedback for you to be like, okay, I need to tune in somewhere that I'm not tuning into.
Yeah.
In your practice, and whatever that may be, it could be something like right now for me, my practice is hit a roadblock because I cannot creatively, again, play, relax, be receptive.
Right.
Get into that space when I'm in just a pigsty. And my studio really needs a deep clean, it needs a proper spring deep clean. So I've been putting that off. Surprise, surprise.
Yeah, no one wants to do that.
Yeah. And I have I love spiders, but I don't want the cobwebs everywhere.
Yeah.
And I didn't mean that as a metaphor, but that's also.
There's literally cobwebs in your studio? Oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it could be something like that, something's not physically right in our environment.
Yeah.
You need to tune into, but it could be anything else really. We're all different in our practice.
So if you're out there and you're you got some stormy weather in your art practice, think about your space. Think about with what Mairin-Taj is saying. Is that friction maybe the message? Is that your body telling you it's not that you can't draw or you're not making progress, but maybe you need to reevaluate, something about what's going on is telling your nervous system not to move, right? I think there's something to that. I know for me, I would hit these points in my career where producing, and I just would hit a wall where I just felt like I could not draw. And it wasn't like an artist block thing. It was just I just don't want to do this, which for me is weird, right? And once I actually got into this weird, I don't want to say rut because I was still doing stuff. I started making sketchbooks by hand. I was gathering up all this paper, cutting them to size, gluing spines, just doing art-related stuff, but not actually making art. And it was really therapeutic, although it threw off my schedule tremendously. But I felt like I kind of needed something like that. I needed to
constructive and hands-on, but not in I'm an artist making stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's interesting too. I think a big reset button can be doing something like that, constructive, hands-on, but not related to that particular discipline.
Yes, you're moving, and it doesn't feel like progress, but it is.
Yeah.
Because I think if I'm not moving, that's when I feel like I'm going nuts. If I'm just sitting and thinking about drawing, man, I feel holy crap, what are you doing? But like you said, cleaning your studio.
Yes.
Sometimes just that, like any kind of physical whatever that is getting you mentally ready to continue drawing is really therapeutic, I think.
Oh, sure. I found I have these moments, and I have to actively remind myself of this, like right now in my personal situation, to kind of get me psyched up for doing it, because I know it's true. But I found that if I'm like preparing and reorganizing a workspace for working in and cleaning it,
Yeah.
as I'm doing it, like I'm thinking about doing the work and getting more excited. It's a nice psych up,
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's a nice way to be like, ooh, I'm looking forward to working at this spot, or
Right.
I don't even know, whatever.
No, I think you're right. Because God, I had this weird mini ritual. Whenever I would finish a book, I would completely clean my desk, which is really big. It's like,
Yeah.
I don't know, 4 feet by maybe 3 or maybe more than that.
Yeah.
And it gets gross from all the graphite and ink and stuff.
right.
And so at first I only did it because I always felt like I can't stop to clean now. I'm under a deadline, and which is silly, but that I would do that to myself. And then,
Well, that makes sense. You want to save time.
yeah, but like 10 minutes to wipe your desk is not. It's really all mental. Anyway, but then when I would do it, I would finish a book and I'd go, okay, let me just take a breath and like clean this desk off, break out the Windex because it's a mess. And it always felt, I guess I never thought about it. It always felt refreshing, and like I'd catch myself ready to start the next issue.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, I'm saying issue. If you're not familiar with my work, most of it is comic illustration related.
Yeah.
So there's always there's always a rush to finish, 22 odd pages in a cover. And you're always freaking out because everything's on a monthly schedule. So, but yeah, I think you're right. I think it did something for me to like stop and just wipe this desk clean
Right.
of whatever was there before.
So that clearly is a way for maybe working from, as you say, a monthly schedule, a way to reset without it being too largely seasonal.
Yeah. Yeah, true. Well, this is kind of a cycle, right? Like, I mean, that's the most natural thing in the world, right? Women are on a monthly cycle; they're cleaning out and then starting anew. And I think men are totally disconnected from like, hey, maybe I should have a reset every so often. And it just became that for me. Just clean the surface, get rid of all the stuff from the previous issue to start the next one.
Right.
And that was super beneficial for me.
That's interesting. That reminds me, I don't know, maybe this will be relevant to somebody, but on that note, women's natural energy has like the monthly flow.
Yeah.
We can't be a certain way steadily every day.
Correct.
But for men, it's different. Like traditionally, anyway, like the masculine energy is like peaks in the morning, and then slowly you're just like done by the end of the day.
Yeah.
But a lot of artists like work at night.
This is true.
I'm wondering, like, is there like a reset that maybe would be more appropriate for men? That's like for in the mornings.
I don't know.
Is creative energy better at night for guys because it's like mellow?
I have read an article about this. It was in context of ADD.
Oh.
Just because obviously like that's an issue
cool.
for me.
Yeah.
You may be onto something, because the belief is that you can focus better at night because the world has fewer demands of you. And so maybe, I don't know if this is a masculine thing or not, because the world has demands of everybody.
Yes.
But if traditionally men are expected to like get up in the morning and go, till the soil, there's a lot of like, you have to do X, Y, and Z while the sun is out.
Yeah.
And maybe at night you can just, you don't know anybody anything, and you can just do whatever it is that makes you feel better.
That's fascinating.
I wonder.
That's really cool.
I never thought of it. I mean, like I said, I thought of it in terms of ADD, but I never thought of it as like masculine, feminine kind of thing. So,
I think there's something into that might be relevant.
Maybe.
Like for me, I can't work at night.
Oh man, I used to be really great at it. I got to the point where I actually timed myself, because I was like, what is going on with this? Like, I would be struggling all day. I'd have like an 18-hour day.
Yeah.
Right? And I wouldn't get shit done all day. And just constant distractions and breaks, and then I would get to nighttime, and all of a sudden I'd bang out like 2 days worth of work.
Right.
So I thought, well, what's going on? And I measured, literally I timed myself, how long can I focus in the day versus night? And I could focus, like when everything is good, 45 minutes straight, like meaning start a task and not feel distracted from that task.
And being productive on that.
Right.
Yeah.
45 minutes during the day, and it was up to 2 hours at night.
Wow.
Where like, and I mean, if you're out there, if you don't know what I mean like you're focusing on a thing,
Yeah.
and you are not thinking of something else.
Yeah.
Right? You're just doing that thing. The second I would feel like, okay, I could use a coffee, or I could do this, or I could do that, I would stop and I would look at the timer. And it was about 45 minutes during the day. On a great day,
Wow, yeah. Right.
it could be less.
Yeah.
In nighttime, like I said, without all the distractions, 2 hours. Easy 2 hours, you know?
That's really interesting. Yeah. I've never timed myself in that way, but I should check in with that.
Yeah, I mean, you're more of a fine artist, so it probably doesn't matter so much. Like you kind of...
I mean, I think it would be useful information, especially
Sure.
like talking of seasons and productivity and knowing when to not be pushing. I think it's a good way maybe to kind of self-audit
Yeah.
at whatever point in your life. I know I'm very different now than when I was like 20 and in college.
Right.
In art school. So it could be a cool way to kind of self-audit, check in and be like, okay, what are the best times of the day or night for me to be expecting to be most productive?
Yeah.
So that I can take a little bit of the stress off at
That's-
other times.
That's what happened with me. I was like, holy shit, why am I spinning my wheels at this time? Maybe I should just chill out.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it made a big difference. Now, since then,
Yeah.
I've also figured out my sleep,
That's
which,
so important.
yeah, which for years I struggled with. So I've moved that so I can focus better during the day, and I don't allow myself to work at night anymore.
That's great.
Yeah, but I mean, it was, all-nighters were a normal thing for most illustrators, and they're devastating because you would be, at least with me, when I did an all-nighter, I could not sleep the next day, or I would totally wreck because of struggling with insomnia,
Yep.
I would wreck my system. So I couldn't be one of those guys that would like stay up all night, deliver the book, then crash all day.
No.
I had to literally just keep going.
Yeah.
And by that second day, you're just demolished. Like, it was just, you weren't creative. Like the next day you got up and I always felt like I was so spent,
Yeah.
even though I had finally got some rest. It just was not positive. So
Yeah. That's important.
yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, I've heard a lot of wise creative people talk about that, like Elizabeth Gilbert, writer, talks about some of her books on creativity and writing and being an artist in the world. She says like she figured out when her time of day was
Right.
to write. And
Right.
I don't remember exactly. I think she said like 5 to 7 a.m.
Correct.
And then like the rest of the day, like if she does other writing, great, but like the rest of the day is not on time, like her on time, she's figured that out. And I think
Right.
that's important.
I agree.
Whatever
And
discipline you have.
yeah, absolutely. This was, the War of Art, he talks a lot about that. Like just, he used to be a Marine, and he has a studio outside of his house, so he has to physically trudge up to it,
Nice.
because it's like, and he says sometimes when the weather's bad, it almost makes it better, right? Because his argument was like, when we were Marines, like no one suffered as well as the Marines. They were always complaining, but they always had the worst jobs.
Yeah.
And so if he has to trudge through the bad weather, it was almost like mentally better for him to get into a work zone.
Yeah.
And he has all these funny rituals, which is probably another thing I'd love to talk about.
Yeah.
Is, do you have any rituals going into work
Yes.
that help get your head right?
Yes.
And how would that help someone who's in this stormy weather phase, like struggling?
It's important. What is that old adage? Like if you can't do your habits or your tasks or your rituals if you can only do them in good weather or good seasons,
Yes.
or good times, or when you're at your ideal, like
Yeah.
how are you gonna manage that in the weather and the storms?
Yeah, because this is not
I
smooth
botched
sailing.
that completely, but you know.
No, I know. No, I get it. It's not smooth sailing, and so
Yeah.
your ritual has to match, like, the rough times.
Yeah, you gotta have discipline for the rough times.
Yeah,
For sure. There's a lot there.
and discipline. You're not talking in a sense of like the sort of traditional macho, like you just gotta suck it up and do things, right?
No, I think a lot of discipline is knowing how to soften or be vulnerable or let go or loosen your grip or like.
Oh,
There's
yes.
a spectrum to discipline. It doesn't involve, getting butch, staying like, "Argh," into, like restricted mode.
I like the idea of discipline, meaning loosening your grip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I've been drawing since I was 4.
Wow.
And I just say that to kind of give an addendum to my particular journey in my practice and in being an artist. Because I think if you're an artist, like it's a life vocation. It's not exactly whether you're professional or not.
Correct.
It's just like, it's a lifestyle choice.
Yeah.
So being an artist for my life and where I'm at in my journey, I would say you get to a point where, and everyone's different, but you get to a point where you start to level up to that kind of degree of awareness.
Yeah.
Where, okay, letting go, what does that discipline look like? Having that kind of quality in your work becomes something that you can tend to, because you've gone through all the years and hours of like figuring out what the basics of your discipline are.
Right. The what is it? The Chinese phrase of "try not try." It's their version of what in the West has been kind of bastardized and called the flow state.
Yes.
You're not really making I almost said you're not making a concerted effort, but that's not even true either, because you are putting in the work, but it doesn't feel like it because you're not forcing it.
Sort of like I don't know, that thing that happens when like muscle memory, or when you can ride a bike after years of not doing it because you've kind of figured out the mechanics of it.
That's a great way to put it.
What I mean?
Yeah, you get to a certain point where the training kicks in and you're not struggling to get started.
But then you can tend to like deeper nuance of that skill.
Correct. The key though, so if you're out there, and I want to not forget that we have an audience that is maybe struggling with stuff. How do you get to that point? How do you get to a point where like, I'm still just starting, I don't have enough training under my belt to just get into this weird flow state you guys are talking about. What does that mean? Because I remember trying to talk to a group of artists about this and trying to describe this and saying, I felt like I was sort of outside of myself drawing. Mm-hmm. And this guy's like, dude, I'm just trying to learn how to draw. You're talking about like out of body experiences. Like I can't understand what you mean.
Yeah.
So what's the key to getting to that? Is it just, again, do we just muscle through training, or do we just train when we feel like it? Does that mean not progressing as fast as you'd like?
And this may be a little too, this might not relate if you're not getting started or pursuing drawing and practice for any kind of professional reason. But even if you're new to it, but you have financial demands, or you're trying to imbue your practice with some kind of financial expectation, like that creates stress, which can create your stormy season, which can create the inability to actually produce.
That's exactly right.
So, I mean, part of the answer might just be in, depending on your circumstances, it might be in like letting off the stress by doing other things outside of work, like having jobs so that you're not making your art work for you.
Oh, that's a great point. Like if you earn your living other than art, it gives you the flexibility to pursue the art without the pressure.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I like that.
Because that creates stress and storms, which can be very difficult to overcome. I certainly dealt with that in my time.
Yeah, what I like about that is that there's always this pressure for artists to like do something with their art, so to speak.
Yeah.
And
make that product.
Yeah. But also, you'll hear artists who are having to do other things for work feel like this is a failure because they're not living off of their art.
Yes.
But you're sort of saying, I think, that might actually make your work better. Like not having the pressure. Yeah, like I don't have to sell this painting. I just have to be happy with it.
Right, not putting pressure on the work to sell.
That's awesome.
In order to have that as a practice,
That is awesome.
Because you're not going to practice if the only reason you're practicing is to make something to sell money.
I agree.
And then you're gonna, that's great. I've lived that myself. That creates a lot of inner turmoil.
Which sucks. Like, no artist should go through that.
Yeah.
We have class in about 5 minutes. I think maybe we should cut it off there.
Yeah.
That's a great way to end it, though. I think if you're out there, you're heading into sort of a rough patch in your work. I think the takeaway is, like, take pressure off.
Yeah.
It may be your body's, to Mairin-Taj's point, it may be your body's way of saying, hey, this signal is not a negative. I'm trying to tell you to chill out.
Yeah. Or like, here's this information, this feedback that you need to like decipher.
I like that. That actually makes a lot of sense. And if you're out there beating yourself up because you're not selling paintings, you're not making a living off your art, maybe turn that around and help that make your work better.
Right, and not selling is not a sign that you're not good enough.
Correct.
I mean, that's a complicated thing, but really there's amazing artists in the world who are not famous, who will probably never be known, and who do better work than a lot of the actual people selling like crazy. It's just not a measure. Don't make that your measure.
Amen. So, thank you for that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's always a pleasure. Thank you guys for watching. I forgot to mention that the folks at Blackwing help support us by sending us goodies, and I'll put a link in the description for you to pick up stuff if you wanted any amazing pencils from them. They recently made a pen, which is odd for them. I haven't tried it out yet, but I'm curious. And Mairin-Taj, I will put a link to your Patreon in the description, but they can find you on Instagram at
studio_MAIR.
Awesome. And I'm Mike. You can find me wherever, Google, I guess. And we'll see you guys next month.
Yeah.
Thanks.